There you go. So why is she such a musical force of nature? With me is Paul Stokes from Q Magazine to tell me there was a running theme there with the audience. They're all of a certain age. But does her allure go across the generations?
I think it absolutely does. I mean, they're probably the ones that got up earlier, so they got the tickets for the first night, and this run goes on most of...
They've been there 35 years, probably.
Exactly, yeah, and this goes on sort of August, September, 22 nights. I think, when she started, she was very much of the pop scene of her era, and her contemporaries have obviously aged with her, but at the same time, you have a lot of young fans now, people who never thought they'd ever get the chance to see her play live, people who are... And you see that in artists as well, people like Florence and the Machine, a lot of even the singers of the 80s, they needed someone like Kate Bush to sort of open the door and establish that sort of strong female singer-songwriter as an artist in her own right, and she's a very artistic character, and I think that you can see that's given her a timeless quality.
Is that why she's sort of lasted so long? Because she made pop music into a sort of more, I guess, highbrow art form by, obviously quoting Wuthering Heights and that kind of thing. She was slightly cleverer than the others.
Absolutely, these weren't sort of like, easy sort of pop songs, long, disposable things, and I think that's why she's had such a long career. The records she's released recently are very sort of experimental albums. Yeah, her older fan base have come to it, as have the new generation.
I guess the thing is, she feels like she's been a recluse because she hasn't toured for such a long time, but she has released records and she has appeared in public.
She's just got on with her life. She famously hated touring and suffers from stage fright. So thought, right, I don't really want to do this anymore. And obviously now, where if you're a band, the way you make money is to play live. Back then, record sales were strong enough. So she hasn't really disappeared. She's released records sort of periodically over the last couple of decades. She's appeared in public. I remember her coming to the Q Awards in 2001. It was like, that's Kate Bush.
What was she like?
She was great. She was quite down to earth, quite normal. There was a popular story that she said she'd been working on something and sent some loaves to a record label, which she subsequently denied. But said, I really like that story because it makes me sound quite homey. And this is what I've been doing. I've just been getting on with my life.
Kind of normal, but you don't want your pop stars to seem normal. I mean, you see her in those clips from the sort of 70s. It really is her heyday, and she was different. She was very different. So doesn't that ruin the mystique that she's just, she bakes and lives a normal life?
I think this is going to be the really interesting thing about tonight. What kind of show is she going to do?
Yeah.
She's picked quite an intimate venue, so you could imagine it being quite stripped down, quite bare, let the music speak for itself. However, there are rumours that she's been in flotation tanks at Elstree Studios, been working with 3 diving instructors. It's going to be really interesting to see if she can maintain that balance between doing an amazing show and also doing something where you really get to experience the music.
And briefly, bearing in mind she does get stage fright, she doesn't want people to film it on their mobile phone. She's been adamant about that.
I think she's right. I mean, imagine coming on stage and all you're seeing is lenses. That's bad enough. But if you're stood behind those people, and I've done that at so many gigs, you end up watching bands through on screen even though you're at the venue because of someone in front of you with an iPad. It's like, watch it. Get the DVD when it comes out afterwards. You don't need to do it yourself.